Hi, Stacy here with Bluebird Paper and Thread. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Saturday, January 3rd. Happy New Year, 2026. Not quite sure where 2025 went to, but we're here in 2026. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My channel is on my hobbies. Right now it's primarily cross-stitching, but I do enjoy sewing and I've started to do a little bit of quilting. I also enjoy paper crafting. I like to make greeting cards, gift tags, gift card holders, treat boxes, that kind of thing. Let me see. We ended 2025 with a trip to the vet for Gunner. I had noticed a red spot on his belly and it kind of looked like it was going away, but the dog won't let me roll him over to look at his belly. So took him to get groomed the Monday before Christmas, and she's like, he's pretty red on his belly, like all around. Did you know? And I'm like, well, I knew that there was one little spot and that it was kind of clearing up. He kept chewing on his paws and his, belly. And so off to the vet we went, and he has a bacterial infection. So we are on antibiotics and steroids, but he's happy and he's bouncing around and he's like, can hardly wait to eat his food. I think he lost about 4 to 8 pounds. I can't quite remember how much he was when we took him in for his checkup a couple months ago. So he's lost a little weight, so he's got a lot to catch up on. But what we don't know is we don't know what he's allergic to. The doctor looked at me and said, do you have fleas? And I'm like, haven't seen any fleas on him. I also have 2 cats. And they're all in the house together. And I said, and I haven't noticed fleas on them either. Because usually that's a cue to me. Like when the cat gets the fleas, I'm like, oh, okay, we've got an issue. And I make sure that we spray the yard and, do all the things that we're supposed to do. And he just looked at me and I'm like, because he's been chewing around his tail. He goes, when they chew around their tail, that's usually a sign of fleas. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen any. The groomer didn't tell me she saw any, so I'm going to say, no, we don't have fleas, plus we're on Brevecto. He's like, okay, well, Brevecto, some fleas are immune to Brevecto. So just as an FYI, if you have a dog and it's on Brevecto, or a cat, I think it's also a feline Brevecto out there too. Some fleas are immune to it. They are not going to die or get sterilized or whatever that medicine does. And I said, well, he's on Brevecto because that's the pill that he'll eat. He won't eat NexGard. It takes me days to break it up and hide it in food and treats and give it to him. So he's like, okay. He's like, just tuck that away. I'm like, okay. So we don't know if it's food. I think it might have been his bed. I ordered a bed for him off of Amazon and it had a furry topping. And then when I pulled it off to wash the topping when he was getting groomed, I noticed that the foam on the bottom of it looked kind of funny. And so I thought, let's go ahead. So I tossed it and I got him a new bed that's just vinyl covered until he clears everything up. And then with the next bed, we'll go back to maybe one that's more plush and see if that's it, because you never know where this stuff is coming from. And I've told the family to cut out all treats. So we've been doing no treats, just his regular food. Been giving him a little bit of turkey with his medicine, and that's pretty much it. Because we don't know what's causing it. And then we'll add the treats back in one at a time. And my husband likes to dump them all in the treat jar at the same time because we get the bark box. So I'm going to say, please don't. Let's do one treat at a time, one bag at a time, and see if we can't eliminate and figure it out. And it could have just been that he was itchy and that it kept getting itchier and it was warm. It's been a really warm winter for us. I think it's warm. That could be my season in life. I don't know. Everybody else seems to think it's cold. I'm like, oh no, it's hot. Anyway, so so that's kind of how we ended 2025. Everybody went to bed. It was just me, and even the animals were asleep as I rang in the new year stitching away. So that was fun. And yeah, it's been good. I'm feeling better. I have been off for 2 weeks, and had all these plans, and I got some of it done, but I was working at a snail's pace because I also got sick. And today is the first day that I woke up and I'm like, oh, I have energy. So I've, tootled around in the house, and I, sat down and downloaded photos for my end of the year, or my finish parade that I'm going to do here in this video. So, I mean, I've been moving around and feeling pretty good and not getting tired. So I think I'm finally getting over it, whatever it was. And, just stitching and crafting and sleeping a lot the last 2 weeks. Just trying to take care of myself so that I can go back to work and get busy on preparing for summer, because it will be here before you know it, and I've got a lot of things to do before the end of the month when we open up our registration for our resident camp. So there's that. Okay, I have a couple new starts. Three new starts this week. Working on some whips. I did do my Christmas Whipgo. I put that together, and I realized I don't have very many Christmas charts in the works. So I'm debating on whether or not to redo it again, and to kind of go through my books here and pull out the charts that I need to finish, or I'm just going to leave it and stitch, like if it says, I put on here, so I'm using Nicole Spore's Whipgo board, and like I put on here Christmas Hugs by Teresa Kogut, not kitted. So I know that, okay, this is in my iPad. I need to kit it up, and we'll, go from there. So some of it's not works in progress. Most of it is new starts. We'll just see what happens. I have kitted up a couple of other things, and I'll go over that in a little bit too. Let's get started on my new starts. So for Christmas, my husband asked me what I wanted, and I get the Stitchery Catalog, and I've seen this before, and I thought, you know what, let's just have him buy this for me. I love the colors. I think it's so pretty. And so I went ahead and I using everything in the kit. So it's a 16 count Ada, and I do have a start, and this is my start. And for it being a gazillion shades of white, it was quite enjoyable. I didn't really want to put it down. You can kind of see, you can kind of tell. So where I'm at is up here. I'm stitched, like this area. So I'm right adjacent to that flower bud. So what I've decided I'm going to do is, it looks like it's a lot of white, but it's not. It's varying shades, and they're kind of in sections. So, what I did here is I stitched this like peachy color, and then I filled in the center, and then I started working my way down. And so that's kind of how I worked it. And I think I made maybe one mistake, and it wasn't a big deal. maybe 2 tiny little mistakes. But I think that's what's going to keep me moving with it. So, and actually I wasn't sure. I had thought about switching the fabric out to a linen, and I'm really glad that I didn't, because the 16 count Aida, this Aida is not super crunchy. It's a little softer, and it's very, very nice to stitch on. I'm actually really enjoying it. So there's that. I did start this one before last week's video, and I just forgot to show it, but it's Snow Day Friends. And I want this one finished because I'd love to display it in January, but it is giving me the business. I originally started it on this fabric, but you can hardly see the color of the reindeer, although now you can. The sliding's a little different, but you really can't from a distance, and I didn't like it. And I had ripped this out 3 times, and I'm still not happy with my stitches. So I'm going to frog that or cut that piece off. And I pulled out some Vintage Country Mocha. I think this is a 40 count. Yeah, Newcastle linen in Vintage Country Mocha. And I'm much happier with it. It's almost like when all else fails, go Vintage Country Mocha. So not the same, and I kind of wanted to just work the different colors that are in this piece to make sure that I liked how they showed up before I got, halfway up the snowman and realized, I don't like it. So I like that one. I'm hoping to get that one done sooner than later. Like I said, I'd love to get it finished to put on display with my January stuff. And I'm using the called for colors. So, all DMC. And New Year's Day, I started Jessie Challinor by Hands Across the Sea. 1904. And I'm doing the more muted colorway. As I was going through my photos this morning, pulling photos of my finishes, I came across a picture of the bright colorway, stitched super tiny, probably because I was at the attic and I took the photo of it at the attic, probably a 56 count in the bright colorway. And it was finished into like a little, it looked like a beanbag pillow. It was just soft and kind of floppy. And I thought, oh, it would be great to have this one finished and framed and have the bright one finished as a pillow, because I think the colorways are just so pretty. I'm going bold with this one. I'm stitching this on 40 count bronze linen by Color and Cotton. But and part of it's because I had a really hard time finding a lighter colored fabric that I liked all of the colors with. So this is where I'm at. And that's what I got done New Year's Day. Maybe I started right before dinner, so this is just like an evening, late afternoon, evening. I'm not super happy with the beginning stitches. Actually, now they're looking at all of my stitches. Oh, I made a huge mistake there. Have to go in and fix that one. But I think the more I go, the better it'll be. It'll be fine. I am stitching with the called for silk. I put the silk in a bag that a friend gave me. It's supposed to be for makeup, but I'm using the Soie conversion for the lighter colorway, or not. It's the called for flosses, I should say. So that was a nice start. I liked that border, that key, is it a key border, keystone border, I don't know. I like that border. It's very easy to get into a rhythm. I must also say that when I was watching, or when I was stitching this, I was also watching the Westminster Dog Show. So I was probably a little more distracted than I usually am. Okay, since Land That I Love is finished, I have a new Sunday sampler. And it is The Simple Life. It is another Teresa Kogut. And I want to just get done with it. I have had this in the works since 2023. It was the first Sal that I joined of hers when I joined her Patreon group. And I just want to be done with it. I love it. I've always loved it. I just haven't stitched on it in a while. And part of it's because I got stuck on the house. Well, I'm pleased to say that I got the house done. So I just have a tree and a little bit of the fence, and then I can start the fence all the way across and start working on the bottom half. Oh, and I have to finish this border. I'm missing some stitches here. So yeah, I'll work on that too. Stitching this on the called for, which is 40 count Overcast linen by Cedar Linens. I just poked myself with a very sharp needle. And I'm using called for floss. I can't remember if I said that or not. So it felt good to pull this out and actually finish that house. So I'm excited to pull this out again tomorrow. Okay. Because I've been thinking about this one for a really, really long time. A lot of time spent thinking about this one in December. I decided to pull it out, get a little bit of it out my system, move it along a little bit further. So I stitched on this all afternoon. I think I stopped by the evening because maybe this was a New Year's Eve stitch, because I wanted to stitch on something else. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Verdal, and I'm stitching it on the called for, with the called for floss. It's DMC. And here is my progress. So what I did is right along here, it's a lot of confetti stitching. So I filled in here and I worked on this piece here, which is part of, I think, the Death Star on his helmet. Yeah. So the goal is to finish this page, which I think it ends about here and here. So finish this page and then move over this way to make sure that I've got it in the right order. I have this one in my cross stitch markup. So this piece has a total of 111,075 stitches. I've stitched 1,340 of them, which is 1.21%. I was really hoping in my mind that I would be closer to 5% than 1%, but I'm over the 1% mark finally. And I still have 1,975 stitches left to do, and I worked on it so far, the piece, 11 hours and 13 minutes. And that's all I got done. It's actually a lot of stitching. So the next time I pick this up, I'm going to finish filling in down here. And then there's black in through here. So I'll start working on the black here, get that part finished, and then start working back over this way. You know, again, the goal is to finish this before I die. Not planning on going anywhere anytime soon, so that's good. And then the other piece that I worked on in the evening of New Year's Eve was Christmas Swan. And I really feel like I made a lot of progress on this one. I am stitching this on probably the called for. I did get this as a kit. And when I say kit, it had the fabric, and that was it, from Farm Girl Dry Goods when it was released. And here she is. So I finished the chest and started working on these feathers, and I finished filling in the trees. I just have, there's some spaces here because I have red Christmas lights or Christmas balls that go on there, and then I have to do the tree trunks, and then that part of it will be done. So I'm probably more than halfway done with this. I'm trying to get the white done so that I can have fun with the foliage coming out of the back of the swan. She's pretty. And I have all the swans, I think. So it's a lot of white, but I finally, once I feel like I got over the hump. Okay. Haul. Last week I told you I ordered some velvet ribbon based off of what Nicole Spohr ordered, and then I ordered a Christmas set. Well, they came in and they're gorgeous. Perfect green, the perfect red, the perfect cream. So I will add those to my collection. Can't wait to try them. I have linked these velvet ribbons along with the velvet ribbons that I talked about in my last video last week in my Amazon shop. So if you are interested and you want to go check it out, the link to my Amazon shop is in the description box below. I am an affiliate with Amazon, which means I get a tiny, ever so tiny commission off of anything that you purchase from one of my links in my shop. It doesn't cost you anymore. It comes straight from the advertisers or the shop owners of Amazon. So if you're interested and you want to go check it out, I did that for your convenience. My Sweetwater labels came in. So I liked this one. I love the Love Every Stitch. And then these two. I am debating, I may go through and cut these up so that they're in a little bit more manageable size, so that when I'm working on like a project bag, I can just go through and pick out what I want and use it, rather than having to stop what I'm doing and cut it and, you know, all of the things. I belong to the Needle and Flax Patreon group, and she had just opened up in the fall a fabric tier. I believe it's $39, and then you get one cut of fabric every 3 months, but you have to be in the club for 3 months. So this is this month's, and it came in a gorgeous box. This is Dolly Madison. Let me show you how I opened it up, and it was like this. And it gives you a little card in a really pretty vellum envelope, and it talks about Dolly Madison and her life. And then a little sticker of Dolly. And then this is the fabric. It's a fat half. But look at how gorgeous this is. It's so pretty. It's like the very similar to like the darker color in Vintage Country Mocha. So for $39 times 3, I mean, this is, it covers the cost, right? But I mean, it's gorgeous. And then there were some extra goodies in there that I wasn't expecting. We got a charm, a bag charm from a Lori Holt Happy Charm. And a skein of Lancaster Red. It came in a little paper bag. So a really nice value for your Patreon membership. So I'm really pleased, and I'm going to hang on to this stuff. I'm going to hang on to the club membership. I let Be Stitch Me go. I was in it for the amount of time that I wanted to be in it. And so I let that go. But now I've got Dolly Madison. I can learn all about her. I really like her her series of the First Ladies of the United States. If you haven't, you might want to, I don't know if she does it on her YouTube anymore, if it's just Flosstube. I really need to spend some time and look at her channel. Because it's fascinating, and she does a lot of research and does a really good job of explaining the ladies and what their life was like and how they got where they were and what their thing was. And it just, very pleased. Very pleased. Okay. Christmas Whipgo. I needed to add a couple of things, so I went through and I kitted up Holiday Hoopla by Brenda Gervais. So I've got all the flosses. I might be missing Nutmeg, but Nutmeg I know is in another bag somewhere. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to stitch this on 36 count Colonial Parchment by Fabrics by Stephanie. So that will get added to the list, and one of the others will get taken off. And I am also working on kitting up Winterberries and Pine. I've wanted this chart since I saw it, and it was made available on the Country Stitches website, which is Brenda Gervais' website. And I grabbed it. And so now I just need to finish kitting it. I think I need mostly DMCs for this one, and I don't have quite a few of them, which is odd. I probably do. They're just probably tucked away in a project somewhere. So I'm going to go through this and write down the DMCs that I need, as well as the DMCs that I need for 324. For the next grouping on that chart, I'm going to go through that before I go back in the house today, because I think we're going to go to Hobby Lobby today, and after my husband gets off work, and it would be a great time. I've got gift card money. It'll be a great time to kind of stock up on my DMCs. So I think that's what I'm going to do. What's in here? Oh, this is patriotic stitching. Okay. Finishes. Going to do my finish parade. I tried to remember to go through and write down all of my finishes and the date that I finished, and I got to November and then I kind of slacked off a little bit. And these are fully finished pieces, kinda. I have a couple that aren't, but they will be as soon as my orders come in, so there's that. I played around with drum finishes this year, which I'm so pleased with how they've turned out. I feel like the 2 drums that I did this week came out really, really good. One is, I think, done. I might add some. I ordered a bunch of crinkle seam binding from Delane on NOE on Etsy, because I felt like I needed like a cream or peachy, pinky seam binding to go on the bulb safety pin on this piece. I didn't go through all of my bins and pull them all out, but I do have photos of them. So what I will do is I will go ahead and drop the photos in here so that you can see them, the front and the back. And then for this next year, I'm going to try something a little differently, I think. I mean, it's not going to affect the end product for you, but I think for me, being a little bit more organized is going to be a little helpful. So my first one is this piece. This is I don't remember the name of it, but it is the piece that was a freebie when Primrose Cottage opened up their brick and mortar store this year. When they were promoting it, they sent it out on the backside of a postcard invitation to attend the open house, and I think they gave them away on the day of the open house. But anyways, I stitched mine on kind of a peachy colored fabric. I don't remember. And then I found this fabric in my stash, and I thought, what better fabric? I did it on the bottom too. And then I added my charms. So I did a 2025 charm, a scissor charm, and a peach and a red button. And I just think it's so cute. My original thought was to go ahead and add a little seam binding to this safety pin, just to give it some softness. I'm not sure I'm going to do that now. I've been looking at it. It's been sitting on my table in my living room, and I've been kind of just looking at it off and on, and I think I like it just the way that it is. I filled this one with poly pellets, and I followed a tutorial from Nicole Spohr. She did a very good job of explaining how to do the drum and how to finish it and sew the top and the bottom on, and how she packed it. Because I mean, if you look at her stuff is very solid, and this one is too, because I packed it the way that she did. So you don't just pour them in there. You have to kind of shift things around and wiggle it and pat it down and pack it and add more. You want to make it a little overflowing because things settle. And I'm just really super pleased with how this one turned out. So I think I have figured out drum finishes. Then I went on to this drum finish. Now this one's not completely finished, but I wanted to show it because I'm counting it. This one I filled with almost 24 ounces of ground walnut shells. So it's also hefty and solid, probably a little heavier than the last one. And it's this one. And this one is 4th of July round by Primrose Cottage. Now, what I did try to do is take some of this red floss and do a herringbone stitch, and I did not like it. I think I need to watch a video and try it again, or I might, that's a little, or I might try a different trim around the top. I also think what I'm going to do is take the seam binding. I bought some seam binding in a few shades of red and tie that around the front, make a real floppy bow, and then hang the charm from here. And that might be enough. So I'm kind of waiting for the crinkle seam binding to come in. This is fabric from my stash. I've had it for a really long time, but I'm so in love with this. I think it's so awesome. And again, with the walnut shells, you really have to kind of shake it, pat it down. I used the lid to the container to really kind of pack it down, and that's how you get this nice, solid, firm drum. And then I decided I needed to give drums a break. I had finished Sweet by Teresa Kogut. I love the way this one turned out. So I just wanted it to be like something that I could put on a small picture holder, easel. You know, I think this is probably too narrow, but you know, something like this, it's a little too narrow. But I finished it just round. I found a polka dot fabric from my stash. I had ordered a fat quarter bundle, a big fat quarter bundle of all the different polka dot fabrics for this one line this last year, and I've been using it because I love a good polka dot. They're just so versatile. And this one is a perfect match. And then this one I'll put out with my strawberry display. I am, again, waiting for some of that crinkle seam binding. I think I'm going to put a little bow down here with the charm for 2025. Call it good. So I'm waiting for that to get completely finished. Then I finished Botanical Bee. I bought this raffia flower from Hobby Lobby. And I believe I've seen other finishes of this in a similar finish. So I just did it on a round 4 1/4 round sticky board with a little bit of padding. And then I had this olivey green palm trim that was not like Lady Dot's, so when you cut it, it unravels the palms. But I hot glued that onto the back, and then I hot glued the whole thing together. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I have not decided. It's going to have a Charm 2025 on it. I have not decided if I'm going to add any of that crinkle seam binding, or if I'm just gonna, sew the tag, the charm off on the side. I haven't decided yet, but it will have the 2025 charm on it. Give thanks. This might have been a freebie from Primrose Cottage. I had this finished in 2024. I just never fully finished it. I found, again, the perfect pin dot that worked with that orange in that pumpkin. I believe I just used the colors I had on hand. And then this is Bird's Nest, a chenille trim. And then I added the charm on the back. So I finished that one. And then I finished Halloween Delivery. This came from the Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee book by Brenda Gervais. This was the last one I needed to finish. So it's a fully finished object. I have the same fabric that I used on the back, 2025. But my eyelash trim is a little different. I could not find, and I looked and looked and looked, could not find the eyelash trim that I used on all of the others. It's a little thicker, more like a chenille eyelash. This is definitely more like a floss type eyelash. This eyelash trim I picked up. It was on sale in Colonial Williamsburg at their Stitch shop. So I bought a skein of every color that they had. And it's very thin, but I thought, it's fine. I really do like the way that it turned out. So this is a finish. Cookie Claus, and I think it's Mr. Claus by Not Forgotten Farms. I saw Nettie, the mom, Primrose Cottage. She started doing these, and she started finishing them as little plushies. And so I did the exact same thing. And they turned out adorable. This is how the back is. I tried to keep it open at the bottom and turn it that way, and it was really difficult. So I went back to the sewing machine, sewed up the bottom, cut a slit up the back, and then finish it. They didn't even really need anything on the back to cover that slit, but I thought this was cute. And now that they're done, they're going to be so cute. Let me see if I can do it this way. They're going to be so cute sitting in a bowl. I love them. I stuffed these two, Give Thanks and Halloween Delivery, with wool roving. And I'm pleased with it. This one, Give Thanks could have had a little bit more, but I like the firmness of it. This one, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. But they're so cute. Now I have to have all of them. I added the green trim on her apron. I think Sandy Alba did something like that just to give a little bit of interest and break up the white. So I did the same thing. And then to make his holly on his garland pop a little bit more, I used a DMC I don't even know what it's called, Moline Satin. So a very shiny, satiny floss. Not the easiest to stitch with, but I will say that these little berries really do kind of, it's hard to tell, but in real life they do have a little bit of sheen, and they show up on his red coat. I did not go back in and change the berries in her hair, but that would have been a nice touch. So they're done, and I love them so much. And then this one, I went ahead and gave this one a 2025 charm because I had finally just tossed my 2024 charms. Don't you know it? But this one just needed trim, and so I pulled out this trim and added it. I actually glued this trim on. I've sewed the trim on the others, but I glued it on this one. So there's that. Another finish that I had was Eliza's Birds. And I picked up this frame through Amazon. I love it. And then another finish that I had was Cocoa Quaker by Primrose Cottage, and this is all the called for, as well as the finishing kit. I added a rusty Jingle Bell 2025 and some really cute green and cream gingham ribbon to the back. But this is ready to go, and I'm going to put this out, even though it's Christmas colors, and I kind of wish I had done what others have been talking about doing, changing the colors to more blues, because I'm going to keep this out with my January, even though it's Christmas colors. I think it's super cute. I love that one. I also finished, what is this one? Snowman 2023. So I stitched this on a Vichy, maybe a 36 count Vichy linen, or Vichy, Vichey. I changed his scarf and hat band to the blue so that he could be out more for January, even though we've got kind of a Christmassy holly print on the back. I don't care. So I finished him. I finished Northwoods Inn. This was a free chart when you bought the Classic Colorworks flosses a few years ago. For the season, they included a free chart, and this is the chart. I finished it with a red and green tiny gingham on the back. My chenille trim has a little bit of tinsel in it, and then I used a wreath, a bell, a tree, and 2025 charm. It's so cute. I may move it to the front, but I really don't want it to take away from the front piece because I do love it so much. I finally did the last pillow for Grand Old Flag 2. Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. The other two pillows I did out of this series, I have the backing. This was a kit that I got from Farm Girl Dry Goods. So the backing fabric is all the same. I did not add trim to the other two, and I used a 2025 charm. But I love it. And then these are two that I had stitched up early on, and then I just finished them this year. I think these were out of a magazine. So I picked a variegated. I wanted to see what the variegated floss looked like. So this is called Basket of Flowers. And then I used the dark teal green trim and then a white and teal polka dot on the back. It's the sweetest pillow. I just keep it out here with me. And then 1796, same thing, a different kind of variegated floss. I just used, I think this is probably 20 count, a 20 count Ada. And a soft green back on the fabric with a like kind of a sagey color. And then a darker sagey chenille trim and the 2025 charm on the back. And then the big finish this year, which I've already shown, is Land That I Love. This one's been going on since 2022. It was my birthday start for 2022. And it's done. I did order a frame. I hated it. So I called them. I ordered it from Art to Frame. And I called them and I said, I don't like it. And what are my options to return? And they said, well, you can keep it and we'll return it for half price, or you can ship it back for full refund. So it's okay, let me think about it. I had 30 days, so I still have a couple weeks left. I pulled out Dreaming of Poppies because I can picture that in a black frame, and I think it would be gorgeous in that frame. It's a little more ornate, and it's high gloss black, which is not really what I wanted for this. The picture was a little deceiving. And I think it's going to fit. So I'm going to keep the frame. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not even going to call them and say, you know what, I want to return it, but I'm not going to pay, so can I do the half credit back? I'm not even going to do that because that's not nice. And I think I can use it for the other piece. Tonight, I might pull out Dreaming of Poppies and see if I can't get to the top of the page to see how tall it is, and then put it on the frame again, just to make sure that it will fit. But I do think it's going to fit. I think it's going to be just fine. It's going to be tight, but I think it'll be fine. If not, I might be able to go ahead and just cut it down myself, and we'll see how that goes. But I went ahead, I'm going to keep it, and I ordered another frame. My other choice that I was hemming and hawing between, and I think I'm going to like that one much better. So I'm just waiting for that one to arrive. It'll probably come this week, and then I'll get this one finished, and maybe I'll be able to show it to you next week in the frame. If not next week, definitely the week after. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and insert right now my other finishes that I accomplished. I do try to take photos of everything. I think I got everything. So I'm going to insert photos with a little bit of music. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you in a minute. So 37 finishes this year that I tracked. I didn't think I had that many. I was pleasantly surprised. You go throughout your year and you stitch and you finish and you stitch and you finish and you don't feel really like you're making a bunch of progress. And I really didn't feel like I was making a bunch of progress because I think I did 2, maybe 3 big finishing sessions where I finished a bunch of stuff and that was it. Whereas the year before I did a little bit more. And so I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I had 37. Actually, I had more if you count the project bags, which I included, as well as some of the charms. Not all of my project bags, and I'm not going to pull them all out and take photos of them, but the ones that I did take photos of, I'm going to include those. I've included those. And I will do better as I move forward of taking some photos of everything that I do so that we get a true like representation of what I craft on. Now what I'm going to do is I did a few cards this year, not as many as I wanted to, but I'm going to insert my my cards and my treat boxes that I did here so you can see what I've been doing with my paper crafting. I'll see you in a second. So not a bad year as far as like getting things over the finish line, which makes me, again, it makes me feel like, okay, you had a few starts and you had a lot of whips, but you're getting things done. So it's all working the way it should be working. Okay, plans for 2024. I want to do a lot of patriotic stitching for obvious reasons. If you haven't heard, it's going to be America's 250th birthday, anniversary, whatever year as a country. 250 years as a country. Whew, that's a long time. So I have quite a few patriotic pieces. I gravitate towards them. I don't stitch on them all year round just because I tend to stitch on other things and I'm seasonal with my stitching, but I'm really going to make an effort. I want to get some of my patriotic pieces that I have as whips. I want to get them done. And I've got some new ones that I want to start and get those done as well. So, and I'm not, as long as they're done this year, I'm okay with that. I did order the Teresa Kogut, Chantel's 141 Design Company blessing stitch, New Year's stitch. I don't have mine yet. Apparently I was in group 2 of ordering an hour after it was released. So I have to wait until the end of the month or beginning of February to get mine. But it is a darling round 1776-2026 eagle with a flag, USA, and it's finished on a wooden drum. It's perfection. I can't wait to get it. I'm definitely going to stitch that. I'm definitely going to finish the whole thing this year. So I'm anxiously waiting for that. My husband bought it for me for Christmas, and almost every day he's like, has it come yet? I'm like, no, these things take time. Like, I think she ran out of stuff and like she put it up for sale again. So I think I'm in the next grouping. So now I can at least tell him probably the end of the month, beginning of February. Maybe he'll stop questioning me on it. So I want to do some patriotic stitching. I want to do more Christmas stitching. I realized I don't have a ton of Christmas stitching. I mean, I guess I do. I did quite a bit last year and finished it, but I want more. I have more opportunities for little vignettes here and there throughout my house, and so I want to do more. I also want to finish at least 2 samplers. So Simple Life will be one, and then I don't know what the next one will be. Bluebirds of Happiness, maybe. I don't know that I could get Summer Quaker by Lila's Studio done, but that would be a fun one to get done as well. So we'll see. I also want to start new things that I've been seeing popped up, and we haven't even gotten to market yet, and so who knows what's coming with market. And then I am working on a super secret project, and I'm hoping I can talk about that at the end of the month. And I'm excited about it. I hope you guys will be excited about it too. And so I think 2026 is going to be a good year for stitching, a good year for finishing said stitches, and for fun adventures. So we'll see how it turns out. Fingers crossed everything goes okay. I started my paint by numbers. I did not bring it out here. I don't want to bring it back and forth too often because I don't want anything to happen to it. But I will insert a picture of it here, and you can take a look at it. And I worked on it for a couple hours last night. I didn't want to start stitching, so I thought, I'll sit down and just start painting. Just take your time, paint what you want to paint. Not a big deal. I wound up getting 3 colors. I worked with 3 colors. I can't even say that I got all of the 3 colors in, because I didn't, but it's going to be fun watching this progress. So here's a picture of what I did, and who knows, I might pick it up again tonight or tomorrow and paint a little bit more. We'll see where it takes me. Okay. I am going to go ahead and sign off. It's been an hour. And I hope that your New Year's was fantastic. I hope that you have a very blessed and happy 2026. And that you get all the stitching done that you want to get done, all the crafting done that you want to get done. Have a great week ahead. And until next time, happy stitching. Bye.